Are you ready? Let's go. Well, good morning, folks. 44 eyes on the screen already. Hey, that's pretty cool. Let's see. I called Rick about 10 minutes ago and woke him up. And I'm texting back and forth with Matt, and his computer is giving him the bird, the fickle finger of fate. So we may have Matt on. We may not. We'll just have to see what happens. Rick will be oh, there he is. He is alive. He is here. Good morning.
A couple of kicks down the hallway, and that always fixes the computer.
That works. Sometimes it's the Control Alt Delete and then beat it with a stick a little bit. So good morning.
Yeah.
And cheers.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a close one.
Now, I don't Rick isn't on yet. He's probably, I told him turn on the computer first, then go make the coffee. I'm thinking it may have been the opposite way around. But anyway, Rick will eventually be on with us, so we might as well talk.
Yeah, really. And even my coffee machine, I go over to get a cup of coffee and it didn't brew anything, so everything was malfunctioning this morning. Not a good way to start a Saturday.
No, but you can always go back to sleep and take a nap. Try it again.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Hey, we did our first. I don't know how you want to say it, but Rick and I joined the what is it, AMC livecast on Thursday night, and that was a lot of fun. Rick talked for the first hour, and then after the show was over, I hung out with the guys and chatted with them for the next about 45 minutes. Let's see who's on in here. In fact,
Mike's on.
Justin's on. Mike's on. Yep. Oop. Let me turn down the. There we go. That'll work. So no more ringings on the phone. So
yeah, I missed it because I had a prior engagement with Felix, and I got in there right as it was ending. I was like, oh. Just missed it. So I want to go back and watch that.
It was a lot of fun. Actually, I did even go back to watch it myself, and usually I don't. So
yeah,
especially when it's on that Lucas C channel. Why would anybody want to go back and watch that again?
I don't.
So when are you and Rick going to finally figure out, now that Rick's got this a little bit more figured out, when are you two going to sit down and do an interview?
I don't know. Whenever he wants, I'm ready for it. I can go at the snap of a snap. I'm ready to rock. Except this morning.
I think he finally got a different computer in there that he says it works better now.
Oh, good.
Last I saw, he was still using the camera from the computer, and it's kind of gotta get a separate camera. I sent him a good camera, and he's using it for over his workspace. So
yeah, I guess that's kind of a priority too.
Yep. So since I'm talking about it, about workspaces, let me shift something here. Going to shift to to my other camera for a second. There we go.
Oh, yeah. All the metal pieces. I don't know if you're talking, but we're not hearing nothing. I'll sit here and look pretty. Hi, everyone.
Okay, that's the stupid thing. When this changes cameras, it kills mics. So yeah. Then instead of doing what I had planned, I'll just bring them over here and hold them up to this camera. So yeah. I've got all these nice little bronze castings of.
Oh, that looks really good. You got that figured out.
Matt, the detail came out on this wax, this printable burnout type wax.
Yeah.
That it came out some of the best castings I've ever done. And it's just kind of it's just material. Look at the detail on that. That's and that's how it's going to be on the metal parts.
Oh,
so
nice.
And the nice little going upside down, the little injectors. So anyway, I'm going to have a video in a little bit on the Lotus, especially since well, you know what, we can. You know what? If I show, yeah, I can show those pictures. I can show those pictures. So,
oh yeah,
we got the pictures of this thing this week, and everybody started asking, "Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it?" And we're going to do it.
Of course, you're going to do it. Why?
You know, this is going to come out probably close to the time that we come out with that Lotus.
That's good.
38.
That needed.
And that we just, you know, that's something you look at and you almost cry. It is so stinking simple, but so gorgeous. So,
did you see the video when Leonard first saw it?
No.
Oh my goodness, he got emotional about it. He was just like, meant so much for him, you know.
Well, we're probably going to have to talk this over again when here he is. He has finally. Yep.
What do you think?
Finally made it on.
We're
not going to do it. Nah,
I wouldn't. It wouldn't sell. Who the heck would want it?
Me.
Yep.
That's it. Well, remember, Matt, we only make cars for me.
Yeah, I know that.
The Lotus 64, the Lotus 38. That's awesome. That was awesome. They went to the Ford Museum too.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was the Ford Museum. I just seen the photo, but that's where the real car is.
And did you notice what was behind it? It was the Lotus 38 behind it.
Well, no, that's why they went to the Ford Museum. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But yeah, that's what I meant. That's where the car's been sitting. Actually went to the I think they took it up to the concourse once. I think they took it over to well, of course, they took it to Classic Team Lotus to redo it finally, because I think the leather was all splitting and stuff because they didn't keep it nice, you know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, several years ago, Classic Team Lotus redid it. Then I think it was at the Speedway for a little while, but it's mainly just been sitting at the Ford Museum since that day.
And in 19, it was sitting at the big Phoenix Museum.
That's right.
And I got to go by and see it. And I told you needed to throw your butt in the car and get over there. And you hemmed and hawed and you missed it. They also had Dan Gurney's Eagle. They had AJ Foyt's first Indy win.
Mario's Lotus 79.
Yep.
One of them. Yep. I mean, they had, I think they made about 7 of those because they ended up running them for 2 years. And they sold the 1 or 2 to Hector Rabaki. Remember him?
No.
How do you not know that name? He ran Indianapolis. I think he drove it for Teddy Yip actually at Indy 1 year. Clay Ragazzoni, you know that one?
I know that name, but
he
sorry, I
drove
don't
it
know those
for
other
Yip.
guys.
He drove it Indy for Teddy too.
Mm.
Teddy Yip, you heard of that, right? Theodore Racing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Nope,
there's
sorry.
your car, Matt. What do you think?
Oh, I love it.
I know
That's the one I want to build.
I'm on fire, man. I got a few good ones for myself.
Those had better be
Yeah.
shipping this week.
There.
Oh, that's going to be a.
Well, what happened?
That's gonna be nice.
The reality guys were in the club. I think we already told them on Tuesday. I don't know if we did tell them on Tuesday, but the reality is that it was supposed to be the Ford. Everything was here, right? Well, the mold's not here till this coming week. So
The mold will be on April 1st.
So it would have been possible to pull it off, right? So then we jumped ship and we go, well, we'll put it out the following month, right? And just the decals took longer than we thought, you know? So we thought they'd be here Monday, and they're going to be here this Monday. They're going to be here Monday, just one late.
One Monday late.
You know, it is
One Monday late. Well, that's
We'll
it
get
doesn't
it.
matter. It don't matter because the car's going to complete sellout.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that car.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-orders on that were just phenomenal, and it's a great car, great piece of history.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So, like an idiot, Matt, I did stay up till 1 a.m. to watch qualifying.
See, and that's
Which is a big mistake because we don't talk about Formula One here. There's only
Yes,
one
we
person
do.
that wants to listen to Formula One, and that's the one that's
Formula One
talking.
club, right, Matt?
Formula One club.
When we
Yeah,
do a
we
Formula
are.
One club,
Cadillac
you can talk about it all you want.
Colton
Till
Herter is going to be world champ next year, baby. That's going to be the main part of our show if he does that.
Isn't that what Michael Jordan was saying about a year ago?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, so
Yeah, but they're foreigners. It's easier, you know.
Oh,
Ferrari buys all its technology from GM. Too bad GM ain't making the car, right? They're actually funding it, but they're not working on it.
can you read
Anyways,
that?
did you guys watch Thermal practice yesterday? They did put it on.
Mm-mm.
I hate that track. It's probably the worst track. St. Pete and Thermal's worse than St. Pete. It looks stupid. It's out there where, well, Matt, you know where it's at? It's out there where the dude, Larry, whatever the hell, richest guy, one of the top 3 or 4 richer guys in the world, or I don't know. He's a computer, one of them dudes.
Oh, right? Up in
it's
Northwest,
where the tennis tournament just was.
Palm Springs.
Yeah, it's right by where the tennis tournament is. It's it's like where all the rich have their homes, you know.
Oh, Palm Springs.
Yeah, it's like Chris looked it up. It's like $2,000 or something to go to the race.
Jeez.
They have packages. I think where you stand on a balcony or something and have a party. Kind of like that Vegas Formula One crap. You know? No, they did. They had in Vegas, they had that where they pitted. They had like 3 grandstands, and I think they had one around the corner. Other than that, you had to pay like a fortune to go sit at a hotel.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
No, I mean, no way.
Not my thing.
No.
Rick, can you see that question on the screen? Are we going to do the Pocono pinstripe kit?
The Pocono pinstripe.
Someday.
That's the best I can get out of him, William.
William and I went back and forth.
William, I need it for my collection too. So I need
Bill,
it.
you can always Bill, you can always email Jim at salvino.us. They do have them at the office, but if not, you can always email me. So,
yeah. So, anyways, no MotoGP. Formula One's in the middle of the night. A great time. It's kind of like the Australian Tennis Open in America. We never watched it because it's on while we're sleeping. And then we got NASCAR. We should get something today. Finally, we didn't have anything yesterday on TV.
Was there a truck race yesterday, or
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. I'm sure the qualifying and everything's today. So
yeah,
we'll get that, and then we'll get thermal. I was shocked though that Fox Sports 1 threw thermal practice on. You know, the first practice, they were out there in the cleaning off the desert because it is in the middle of the desert. But pretty good. What's it say, Jim?
you may all go to hell, and I will go to Texas. Davy Crockett. So we were asked, what's on the mug?
I think Texas.
What's on your mug, Matt?
Mark, Sean travels to
what's
Texas.
on my mug?
What's on your mug?
Hey, mine's great. I had to borrow one of Ashley's cups.
Well, hold it up higher, Rick.
It's her little dog that passed away. It's a Halo cup. It's English Bulldog.
So there you go, Richie.
Halo was English.
I'm a little late with the Vegas stuff.
There you go. English Bulldog. That's the white with the black, right?
Yeah.
Or was he was he no, he wasn't a Boston. What was the other Pug? I don't know. They still
have what's the other one? Irish? It's the brown one. Looks like Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton's. They still have a real old one of that. Good little girl.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got where the hell are we racing? IndyCar's at Thermal. Anyone see more good throwback schemes?
Yeah.
Anyone else see good throwback? I think that's the winner by far on the throwback schemes. I haven't seen any other. Let me look and see where we're. Miami. I haven't. It hasn't come up yet.
Yeah.
Miami. It's still spinning, but Miami Homestead. Yeah, that's right. It just hit me. Miami Homestead, and me and Jim were those guys love you, Matt. The dudes that we went on their podcast.
Oh yeah.
They actually thought me and Jim were somebody.
I talked you up.
How little did they know?
I talked you up a little bit. I know. I always miss that show. I'm at the time when it comes on. I'm always like dedicated to Felix at that time during the day, and also the time change. I'm like, oh geez, I'm late, and I came in like right at the end, so I got to go watch it.
I was sitting in my car. I still play with that band a couple times, or once, twice a month, right? And we still get together. And it happened to be that Tuesday. So I'm sitting in a parking lot at a church because we play down this alleyway that we has a studio. And I'm sitting there, met the guys, ate dinner, 2 Mai Tais, and
oh boy,
filmed the show. So that was a 2 Mai Tai show, Matt.
Oh, so you were a little
and I don't drink.
Oh geez.
That's it. The only time Jim will tell you, the only time I drink is with the boys before we play.
Pretty much it.
Not a beer guy.
I was bummed I missed that.
I like beer and whiskey cars.
Oh yeah.
They sell.
That's why.
You know what? I hope that that Junior swings it so that at whether it be Talladega or some other race, I really hope they pull off that
That would be
Bud
great.
car, like the fan art that was put out. That will be absolutely outstanding if they pull that off.
There's been no talk about it whatsoever, other than a couple.
Was there any talk about this car by the Wood Brothers beforehand?
No, that came out of nowhere.
So if they're going to do it,
they called me up and told me no. The funny thing is, I would have known if I would have talked to Greg Daughtry. Even though John, Eddie's son, he does the licensing. We do the combined licensing with Kyle Petty and stuff. Greg Daughtry from Penske does the licensing on the current car. So there's in that agreement, when Ford decided, hey, the Wood brothers aren't going away, and we're gonna, whatever it takes to make this car stay on the track, right? And what happened is I think Penske uses it. I don't know about Josh Berry, but I know like on Blaney, on the kid they fired, Harrison Burton.
Yeah,
the driver's under contract to Penske.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the Red Bull thing where they have that other team and they bring drivers over from there.
So it's their development program, the Woods Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, I think actually Penske's kind of got a little deal with AJ, kind of similar to that now.
Oh, really?
Where they're sharing information, and it's a big deal about Will Power. He's in his 40s. About that seat's up at the end of the year, and that kid David Malukas, is the up and coming star. Well, he didn't do so good yesterday, but he's good on ovals. And let's face it, Penske only wants to win one race.
Yeah. Riverside. Sorry, William.
Riverside. Yeah, Penske only wants to win Riverside. Hey, back in the day, that was my Indy 500.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in your backyard, so that helps.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it was the only track I could go to when I was young. Then we got Ontario, baby, in 1970. I was there. Inaugural race.
Too bad that track didn't last. That was a neat one.
It was too far ahead of its time. It had suites. It had, it had like like Ontario club where people that had bucks could buy into this, kind of like they have at the tennis tournament, where you could kind of buy a suite ticket individually, but you share a big old catered, with high-end food and stuff like that, and drinks and cocktails. And I mean, they did a phenomenal job. Didn't last long. I mean, it went into
only 10 years.
Yeah, and then but a lot they failed right away. Whoever the original guys.
Yeah.
And remember Parnelli took it over for a couple of years maybe.
Yeah.
And at a cheaper rate, I'm sure. And then the bank, I think, had a trustee running it at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just, it was just too far ahead of its time. Although it's in California, it probably would have made it anyways.
Yeah, but it was like 8 years later, Penske started developing what turned into, the other track that went away.
That track was nowhere near the quality of that track.
No.
Penske's track was, it was nice, but it wasn't Ontario.
Wasn't Ontario.
Ontario at the time, Indy had its history, had the, the old garages maintained to the nines, right?
Yeah.
Ontario probably had the best amenities of any track in the world at that time. They were, like I said, so far ahead of their time.
And wasn't it kind of a carbon copy of Indy, except it might have been banked a touch more?
I think it was exact, as I recall. It was exact the Indy layout.
Yeah.
And then and then they didn't get NASCAR till 71, because 70 they opened and they were the second of the it was after Indy, you know, they already had the Indy 500, then they called it the California 500. And then it was 71. I remember it. Because actually we had Charlie Glotz, or not, Freddie Lorenzen, sorry.
Yeah.
Was driving the STP. They only ran a handful of races, but they showed up at that one. And Freddie Lorenzen, AJ Foyt won the race, I remember, in the Wood Brother car.
And Fred Lorenzen car, who was that? Was that a Don Nichols car?
Yeah, that one.
Not Don Nichols, the other Nichols.
Dino Don Nicholson.
No, it wasn't him.
Yeah,
it
you're
was,
right, Nick. I don't know.
Ray Nichols.
Yeah, Ray Nichols. Yep.
Yep.
But the Ray Nichols car, and then remember that was the year the manufacturers left.
Yep.
So that was the year David Pearson was hopping rides because he was Holman and Moody's top guy.
Yeah.
He had won 2, he went back-to-back titles for him. Yeah. 68, 69, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Or 68, 60. Yeah, 70, Bobby Isaac won. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
68, 69 in the Holman and Moody car, and he didn't have a ride. So he ran the GTO for Ray Nichols a little. He ran Bud Moore's number 15 Ford. He kind of just jumped around. Then he ended up with the Wood Brothers, and it was part-time because they were having trouble with funding. And then the Wood Brothers found Purelator filters, which, helped them a lot. But they still ran for at least another, I don't know, I would say for 2, maybe 3 years, they would run the limited schedule. And then when Winston had that point money, that's what changed. And they went down to 28 races, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everybody went.
Like pre-Winston, sometimes they would run 2 or 3 races a week. They would have some races, little dirt track.
But that is a fallacy that the people think that the guys back then ran more races than the guys today. That's not true. No. The guys today run more races than the guys back then. Yeah, they had 1 or 2, 3 seasons where I think they ran 51, I think, one year, and 40 some, another year. But if you really look year to year, at the beginning, they ran way less races,
really?
And if you look at whenever, like Dale Earnhardt's numbers should be way better than they are. Most of Earnhardt's career was at 28, I think. In his prime, 28, 29 races.
Yeah.
They even did 26 one year, as I recall.
That year that Richard won the most amount of races that they say could never be broken was because they had a long schedule. That year was 67 when
67 went out. That wasn't the biggest year. No.
What was the year that he won? It was either
67. Here, I'll look right now.
That he won the most races in one season.
No, but he still had the highest winning percentage ever.
Yeah.
No, they run 36 races now, dude, every year.
Oh boy.
And don't forget, back then, Matt, they were counting the twin 125s as part of the 29.
Oh,
no,
really?
They weren't. On the 29, that's when they threw them out. But whenever they had the 40 and stuff, they were counting the twin 125s and stuff like that.
48 races in 67, Doug says.
That
sounds about right. And he won what? He won 27 races that
27.
year.
27. Do the math.
Dang.
27, over half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one could do that today.
So yeah, we run 36 now, right? Official points bang races, and that means you would have to win 16. What?
16 or 17 races would be half.
No, 36. It has to be 60. 19. You have to win 19 races. So Kyle Larson was only 9 short. Hey, I was hoping Kyle Larson won last week because I got to pick him, and he's leading. He has it in the bag, and I'm going.
He looked good.
I'm going to get to rub that into Matt. I was looking so far forward to that, and then I don't know who did the pitch strategy there. A blind man, I think, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, but I'll tell you, the Wood brothers and Suarez was, I mean, I think the reason these guys had the strategy. They took, what I didn't get was, why did Denny have to pit? Why did Tyler Reddick have to pit? But yet Wood brothers and Suarez were able to stay out.
They probably didn't burn their tires off like those guys did.
No, I think they were saving fuel. That's what Kyle Larson and who else was up there with him? It was Byron, right? Yeah, Byron and Larson. Yeah. That's why they pitted then, because you could make it on fuel. And the other one, you couldn't make it on fuel. And so they pitted, and that's how they got shuffled back.
Yeah.
And that track, arrow-wise, if you get shuffled back, you're screwed. I mean, that's a...
Yeah.
Even though there's passing, the Gen 7 car on the mile and a half does produce good racing up front. Where probably one of the shortcomings of the car, you're never going to have a perfect car that races everywhere. But one of the shortcomings is coming through the field. It's super hard on that mile and a half.
Yeah.
When you get shuffled back, because everyone's going the same damn speed. But what's the answer? Stretched out racing, 2-lap leads. I mean, there's no answer. Some tracks are going to be great. Some track, Bowman Gray, I would have guessed to be the worst race of the year. Turned out to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
And you just never know,
All I know is if Kyle wasn't going to win, Kyle Larson, that is, I'm definitely happy. I always am very happy to see that Wood Brothers car take the checker.
That was pretty awesome.
I've always been a Wood Brothers fan.
Well, we were taking a look at the regular Wood Brother car, right?
Yep.
Champion, to do that, right? And all of a sudden, this green car comes along, and it's like, well, wait a minute here. Let's jump ship.
Box art was done, and it was pretty cool. And then this beauty comes along. So,
the minute I saw it, I knew there's no way it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah,
it'll be a nice, hopefully follow up too. Hopefully it'll be
I told Marco to get it up. He'll put it up by Monday. It'll be up. You guys can pre-order. We're only going to make a handful of them, guys. So it's going to be like a non-kid of the month. It's going to be a super short run. So if you put it this way, it's going to be less than half of the Traveler's Whiskey. So if you want that car, definitely order it right away.
Yeah.
If
and the Traveler's Whiskey guys, it's finito. It's gone. There's nothing left.
Yeah, we ain't going to go back. But but anyways, it's going to be it's less than half the production of the Traveler's Whiskey.
Wow.
So,
that's
and I'm
cool.
sure NASCAR.com is going to end up after the fact taking them and in good quantities because they're going to sell.
Yeah.
It's historic. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people don't realize that the Wood brothers pitted that car at the
Yeah.
Indy 500. The Ford, Ford financed. That was a Ford factory team. It was just because thing of it. I was telling Jim this yesterday. The Ford GT. They call it the Ford GT, right? That's a Lola. Lola built the Ford GT.
Yeah.
But they had no ego. Lola was like, "Hey, Ford, you're paying. Here you go. Here's your car. Call it whatever the hell you want." Well, Colin Chapman had an ego. So that's why it was the Lotus 38. That Ford paid for that whole bill there. And so that was actually a factory Ford thing. It's just Colin Chapman, had a bit of an ego. And that's why him and Granatelli didn't get along.
Yeah.
That's why Mario ended up not driving in 1970. He would have had a Lotus 72 at Indy if them two idiots would not have, pissed and moaned over the Lotus 64,
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy when you think what Chapman built those cars for. It was like, it wasn't even $100,000. It was like crazy low money,
Yeah.
How do you build, what do you build? 4 turbines, right? Yeah, 4. Yeah, 4 turbines for, I don't know, $200,000 maybe, I think it was.
That's a lot.
Well, at least he
Crazy.
at least he's able to buy off the shelf turbines rather than to have those specially constructed or made for him.
Yeah, I don't think he paid for those, though, Jim. Andy was a hustler. Actually, Pratt and Whitney loaned them to him.
Oh.
They were on loaner, and that's how Andy ended up not paying a nickel for the cars, because what he did was Chapman took back the wrecked Graham Hill car.
Okay.
Now there's another story I've heard where they actually rebuilt it, and the specs are a little different on the Formula One version, but regardless, and Andy gave him a Pratt and Whitney motor. Somehow he conned Pratt and Whitney out of a motor, so he didn't have to pay for the Lotus turbines. Chapman took the motor, so the motor was that valuable, or whatever. It's a helicopter motor, right, Matt?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Turbine.
That sounds
Yeah,
right.
It probably was.
It's a turbine helicopter motor. Yeah,
I think so.
I didn't even know what
Speaking
a
of something
turbine was.
speaking of something that's that valuable, I have a video.
Oh, let's watch that.
Let me bring that thing up.
I like those guys. They have a commercial thing in their show while he's looking, and they go take a leak break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, this could be your
That's
this could
an
be your
old
leak
man
break.
show there.
Yeah, gotta have it.
Some great pictures from the kind folks at
Where
Wood
is
Brothers
this?
Racing.
I'm still looking it
kinda
up.
Hang on a second. I'm still trying to figure this out. Let's hang on a second. I think I have to remove some pictures, and here we go. Let's start that over from the beginning.
So this week we were given some great pictures from the kind folks at Wood Brothers Racing. Kind of changed our plans on what we were going to do for the next kit for them this year, and I think everybody is in agreement. This is the one we need to do. It is so beautiful. It's a throwback to Jimmy Clark's Indy winning car, so it will fit with exactly what we're doing. So here is a rendering of my design in a program called Keyshot that I can import my CAD files, give them colors, give them materials, and it looks like a real car. So there it is, sitting on the grid of the 1963 4 5 Indianapolis 500. I have no idea where I got that background picture, but it works. Anyway, there it is. Let's see. I'm going to show you in a moment. I'm going to show what it looks like with some of the panels removed. The nose cover, the monocoque, the engine covers, and the tail cover, and I call the apron, the section that goes around the driver. Those are going to be resin, but most all of the parts in this kit are going to be spun metal. White metal, pewter kind of stuff. But anyway, those parts are going to be metal. There's going to be photo etched parts that are going to go, some Zeus fasteners, the bezels that go around the gauges on the instrument panel. Those are going to be metal. There's going to be little metal pieces that you can polish up for your mirrors that'll drop in. And here's a closer look in Keyshot of what's going on up in the front. The water radiator will have a photo etched piece for the front. The oil cooler will have a photo etched piece for that. Also, the backside of the water radiator will have a photo etched cover for that, so it'll have all your nice little venting in it. You can see it's got there's in the neighborhood of about 20 parts in just this front end. It's got two brake reservoirs, a clutch reservoir for the oil. It's got the blue things there. Those are ducts to take the air in off of the nose. Outside of the nose, there's neck ducts along the side of the nose, so it'll bring in the oil or excuse me, the cool air to go over the brakes. Now you can see the masters. There's the top of the brake pedal and the clutch pedal. Inside there will be metal pedals for both of those and a metal throttle pedal. Now here we go to the engine. There are 20 parts in the engine. The transmission is 3 parts in and of itself: a left side, a right side, and the end cap. After I had done this and designed this and run this through Keyshot, I realized I had left some detail off, and that is on the cam covers. There is an embossed Ford lettering in between those bolts. So I went back and redid those. I'll show that to you in a minute in some of the brass castings that I have. But I've gone back over all the parts on the engine. I'm going to be going back over all of the metal parts on the entire car, and casting them in bronze just like you would cast jewelry. I'm starting to have some success this week on that, so hopefully in the very near future I will have those parts and be ready to go off to the mold maker, so he'll have good prototypes that won't get crushed, won't fall apart, won't bend, break, etc. They're going to be good, strong parts. So there are your starter. There is a separate piece. Your fuel pump, your distributor cap. Those are all separate parts. The exhaust headers. There's actually 4 pieces to the exhaust headers. You've got the injectors there that are separate. The throttle body, all that is a one piece that comes off. The water pump, that's a single piece that comes off. So there's and then you've got the heads are separate, and the block and the oil pan, those are separate parts. So there's a lot of stuff in here to keep the builders busy. So now let's go into the very infamous space claim. Those who have been around me long enough know how much I loathe that program and scream about it constantly. If you want to maintain your sanity, if you want to get into doing CAD work, don't get into space claim. That's all I can say. So in the back, you can see there's some oil tanks. I thought I had some oil coolers, but I was, excuse me, oil filters, but I was thinking about the Lotus 64 and all the Model 64 and all that goes in the back there, and it is equally as detailed as this are. There's 123 numbered parts in that, but some of those numbers have multiples, like 4 tires having the same part number, 4 exterior rim faces. So there's it's pushing 150 parts in this. So you can see in the nose, there's the photo etched piece for the nose intake. At the back end, there was a piece of photo etch to cover an opening in the back. There's photo etched in the engine intakes, and there you can see a better picture of that photo etch for the front. The disc brakes are, I believe that there's 2 sheets of photo etch for the brakes. So those are for each disc. So it gives them a little bit of thickness. Though in reality, I think 1 sheet of the photo etch would have probably been a little more accurate to how thin those discs are. So anyway, there you go. There's a bit of a rundown of what's going on with the Lotus, and where we're going with that, and we are so looking forward to doing that Josh Berry car, which is a fantastic homage to this beautiful car, which is now on display at the Ford Museum in Detroit.
So there,
Jim.
There we go. Let me turn my volume down.
Jim goes, well, what are we going to do for a deal this week? And I go, dude, we have to show them the Lotus 38. We're almost there, Matt. You're about done.
Yeah,
we got the have going, and we've already paid for the molds for the spun metal. So we pretty much paid for this thing. We just need to, and I like Jim in the thing. Was saying we crushed the parts and whatever. We didn't crush the parts; we melted them.
They melted and they crushed. Let me zoom in on me for a minute, Rick. I'm going to show some other stuff.
All you.
So here we go. Let me go to the. Nope, wrong one. Oops. Okay. So here's the microphone over here. So here's the engine block. And you can see it's got some nice detail on there. And here is the water pump cover. Rick, the details on these things just came out absolutely gorgeous. And here's what I was talking about. If that'll focus. I don't know if you can read the Ford that goes down the edge of the covers there. And do I have that the right way? Yeah. So see, they fit in, even though I can't do it here with that. There we go. So the parts are, trust me, they fit on. Anyway, I got those.
They do.
Okay, I wanted to show you how stuff is done. See, this is my tree. I'm getting ready to do the rims. So I'll have the faces of the rims that I'll stick on here. These are prints. This is wax, and this is a molding flask, and this is the way jewelry's done. That will plug in like this end, tape around this, and pour plaster in here. Vacuum out all the bubbles. Then when you're done, you flatten off the top. This whole thing, heat the whole thing up to 1350 degrees, burn out all the resin, burn out the wax, drop this down into a vacuum chamber, and the vacuum sucks the air out of the plaster, and then you pour in the 2100 degree bronze, and you see what came out. I'm just amazed at the quality of this. So it's going to give us some really nice patterns for doing this. So I've probably got another week or two of casting the parts, but I'm pretty encouraged about how this is finally going to go for us. So,
well, I think if he gets that done in another 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks for the spun metal, and Matt's ready to go. So, I mean, now we want to finish building the car, so let's give ourselves another week, 2 weeks. So, I'd say,
you know better than that, Rick.
What?
Well,
Aim high.
Let me zoom back. Let me zoom back in on my camera again, and see. We know that it builds. We know that it assembles. Yeah. These are all 3D printed parts. For Rick, it's going to take Rick a lot longer than a couple of weeks to be finishing off all the metal parts to build one of these. But anyway.
less than 5 days, Matt. I'm going to go over under 5 days, Matt.
And then we've got to develop instructions, or you've been working on that. Have that figured?
Jim's got that.
I've got a lot of the images already done and set up. We're probably gonna need a few more.
It's pretty. It shouldn't be too difficult. I know a while back you sent me that test print of the engine and everything. Of course, I had no instruction. That thing went together beautiful.
Let me unplug and roll back and grab that.
No, I mean,
those headers up on top.
Yeah, so cool. They went together easy. I built it too.
Really.
I won't have 5 days in it, Matt, because we're not painting it. You know what I mean? We're not prepping it. We're not painting it. We're gonna build the car.
Yeah.
So that you can see the materials you're getting. So we're not going to trick people and paint it all up and make it look, all snazzy.
No.
We're going to build it in the materials that you're actually getting. So you'll see the resin, you'll see the spun metal, you'll see the photo etch. So that way, when you're purchasing it, you're seeing exactly what you're getting. And then, of course, we'll have a picture of the decals, but so it won't be a finished product. The body parts will be resin, the metal will be metal, and it'll just show you that it goes together, basically.
And chances are about 90% of you guys are not going to want to build this just plain and simply because of the cost. That's the way it goes with the multimedia kits.
Yeah. Huh. Jim didn't go to Jim went to art class. He didn't go to business class, did he?
No, plain and simply. The guys know for the multimedia kits. They're over $200.
Class, Matt.
but this is also going to be something that's going to take you guys, the builders. Going to take
be a collector item is what it's going to be.
It is. It is.
Look at any multimedia kit, such as Model Factory Heroes. They sell them for $250, right? It's going to go up now with these tariffs, but they sell them for $250. You're lucky to pick up an old one for $500. You're dead lucky. I just was looking at a studio, curbside studio 27.
Yeah,
the it's kind of the same car that Mario drove in '81, but it's the '80 version. The Formula One car. $595. Now their cars run about 150 to 170 because they're curbside, right?
Yeah.
They do the body. Anything that's in the body isn't made. No removable body parts, right? So if it doesn't show, they don't make it, and they call that curbside.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some of that. I mean, I talked with you, Matt, about that.
Yeah, we're going to do curbside.
We were talking about the Gurney Eagle would be a great curbside because the whole rear end hangs out with the offie motor, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's going to be highly detailed, but then you don't have to try and make all that body work come off because that is difficult with resin.
Yeah.
You know, the Lotus was pretty lucky because
they're
it was
like
monocoque's car. It didn't have removable anything except the nose.
This one we've got we've got like 7 or 8 different panels for the body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like 8 pieces.
But the only removables are the nose and the engine cover.
Right.
The rest of it all just glues on.
Yeah,
and it goes together really nice.
No, I built it in resin. Yeah, it is resin. This 3D print crap. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you can build.
I love how he refers to my hard built printed stuff as crap.
I like their explanation of the product. ABS like. like is the key word there.
Like.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can print.
And these things, especially that nose cone and stuff, there's some areas it's really thin. It's accurate looking. It's not blocky or bulky. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, and that's why the
control arms
curbside
coming out. That is such a neat part.
Yeah, the curbside the nose wouldn't be. If we did it curbside, the nose wouldn't have been removable.
Right.
None of that detail he just showed you in the front end would exist. And we're going to do something. We're going to do some more simplistic curbside, especially on the offie era where the engines hung out the back.
Yeah.
So then you could put your work into the back engine there, and you don't have to worry about all the removable body parts and stuff. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're going to talk with Dan's kids, and if this goes, that's probably the next one. And we've already talked to McLaren about the M16. It ran a lot of years. A lot of people drove it. And actually, Johnny Rutherford won 2 of his Indy 500 and got a second to Bobby in the rain. Remember?
Yeah.
That was 74 or 75? 75.
Yeah, something. It was mid 70s.
Yeah. But Johnny had remember it was the papaya orange, the 2 wins, and the one he got second was a Gatorade car. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. I got a model kit of that. I'm building
it. Yeah, AMT or somebody made a model of it.
Yeah, I've got one of those. I'm building it. I'm planning on building
great, but yeah, it's all right. The IndyCar model, I built them all. I love them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the accuracy on them is kind of a little bit suspect. And luckily, the resin boys, I forgot all their names. Bill Jurgensen. I can't even think of their names now. But they would make body replacement parts to make them look better.
Yeah.
You could buy a upgrade kit for like the Lotus turbine to where a driver could actually get in the car. I mean, the opening for the driver on that, who made that originally, Matt? MPC,
AMT.
right? MPC. Yeah.
Was it MPC or AMT?
MPC. They made that, and they made Gurney's Eagle. And they made the stock block version. Then they made the offie version, turbo offie with Bobby Unser. Yeah, they did Gurney's in the stock block, and I think they did Bobby's. I bought them all, man. I was so stoked when they came out with those. That was like it's just too bad when we were growing up, we didn't have what the hell these, us three are doing. I mean, can you imagine? I couldn't even imagine being able to build my favorite driver's car, Richard Petty's cars. I mean, you could have built Chase Elliott's car before he, the week he was running Daytona. Could you imagine being able to build David Pearson or Richard Petty or Kelly or whoever was your favorite, that week of the race, or
yeah,
within 4 weeks, 8 weeks after.
Yeah, well, you speak of David Pearson. It's like when MPC came out with that Purelator car. It had and this. It was Donnie Allison and AJ Foyt. I think it was marketed as AJ Foyt's car.
No, it was marketed as Donnie Allison. The detail.
Was it Donnie Allison?
Yeah,
but there was no sign of Pearson at that time because that kit came out probably like a year after that car ever showed up.
I think more like 2.
Yeah,
2 years.
I mean, it would be, the model kit companies would always be a year or two behind.
Yeah, it would be, well, I mean, it was, they weren't race car guys. Let's be honest. I mean, they made some cool stuff. They made the Mickey Thompson. And if you go back to the beginning, we did get some great stuff. Revell with the Mickey Thompson cars.
Yeah.
We got drag cars. Atlantis got a few of them saved. They got the Winds. AMT's got the Winds Charger, right? They re-released that not long ago.
Yeah, they can.
What's it called? Has the one with the first cover on the driver cover that Garlic did. Atlantis has that one. They got some of the 1/16 stuff, and we did get some cool cars, but you had to jump around. I remember the Dick Landy car when that came out. That was really cool,
Yeah.
And then they re-released it with the figure, and I never bought it. That's a kid. I just need to buy it. I really loved that car when I was a kid. Dandy Dick Landy with chomping on the cigar.
Yeah.
And his cars look better. His cars and Sox and Martin cars. I got contacted this week by the guy that does the licensing for Dick Landy, Sox and Martin.
Oh, really?
And I told him if we could ever get that Superbird out, we'd be interested in talking. And that's coming. I mean, Superbird's literally the priority list is here. The Superbird's up there.
Yeah.
It's just it was definitely the price of eggs were too high. So best way to put it. The price of eggs and gas got out of control there. So let's hope that falls down a little bit and we can see. We got a Toyota yet to go, Superbird. Then we're talking about another. Of course, we got the funny car going. That's a definite. And I think Jim's already got a body on that done. Working on the.
There it is.
There it is. Ron Caps, baby. Yeah.
Looking good.
I am so looking forward. A lot of people are looking forward to that, Jim.
I'll get back to this when I get done with my jewelry. With my new occupation, my jewelry.
Yeah, but Jim, me and Jim been working together forever, and that's whenever it's like
And a day.
Yeah, he kept melting the stuff. I'm going. I already know Jim did bronzes, right, Matt? So I'm well aware that he could do this if he just wanted to do it, So it's like I just let him go, let it slide, melted. What did we melt? 3 sets. It's different. And finally, I knew he was going to do what he did because this isn't outside of his ballpark. It's just a lot of work, Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, see, Jim, them are bronzes.
There's a couple of my bronzes. That one there, and then the one in the back. You can see.
Oh wow!
That's he sculpted me. We went on horseback riding.
Yeah,
it looks just like you.
It looks like me during COVID with the mask.
See, I'm more than just a pretty face, fortunately.
That's what. Had some. I'm not going to mention who it is, but I was arguing with a guy about them stupid masks, right? Now, all of us modelers can answer this question.
Yep.
If you get an N95 mask and you go out and you spray petty blue or vermilion, right, with your airbrush. When you come in, what color are your boogers?
Exactly.
They're vermilion. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Now those paint droplets are about 1 billion times bigger than a virus, right?
Yeah.
So
They're about the difference between your fist and a BB.
Modelers knew, anybody that airbrushes knows those masks were not going to keep you from getting sick. And then so the answer was, well, then why do doctors wear them? So they don't spit on you when they're operating.
Yeah. It's like
That's it. They're spit guards.
That's pretty much it.
And well, the funny thing was, Matt, you know, I use a respirator when I paint. I don't know if you do.
Yeah.
But I after picking out the boogers for a few years.
Yeah. Imagine what your lungs are like. You got fluorescent.
I wanted to live a few years. So I got the full blown paint masks. I buy a new one every few years, you know. And the thing with those, they only filter the air coming in.
Yeah.
So when you blow out, you're blowing out the regular
air. A little relief valve.
Yeah, everybody would have to wear the mask to not spread a virus or whatever. So the whole thing was, to me, that's why I laughed at it. Right, me and Jim both laughed at it because we had a factory and we had guys out there dremeling. Right, we called it cold cast porcelain. It basically was clear casting resin.
Oh yeah,
we'll run over real quick. And clear casting resin loaded with a bunch of, you know, glass frit and calcium carbonate. And then out there, they'd be dremeling off the seam lines, right? Basically like a mold, your lines.
Oh, yeah.
Before they painted it. And they'd come in and they'd have, you know, N95 masks, and the dust would be going towards your nose.
Right around your neck. And you know what? This stuff kind of ruins the idea of using any sort of
it doesn't seal.
Yeah.
Mine seals. I don't have much of a beard though. Yeah, mine seals. Mine goes up underneath. But anyways, all right. It's 8:06. I was 7 minutes late. I think I made up my late time.
There you go. We won't dock the check.
I stayed up till 1 a.m. to watch one boring qualifying. I got sucked in.
You should have known better.
Rick,
that's what the DVR is for.
I'm gonna blame Jim. I'm gonna blame Jim. This is true.
Me?
I was a Lotus guy my whole life, right? Through, you know, Jim Clark, Mario Andretti, the whole bit. And then I had nowhere to go when Lotus left, right? And all of a sudden, Jim pulls me into the Ferrari thing, right? And so I went hook, line, and sinker in with Schumacher and the whole bit. So now, you know, I watch and I root for the red cars. And they won the sprint. Hamilton got the pole and won the sprint race. So I was kind of amped up, right? And they ended up qualifying 6th and 7th. So it was a letdown.
Yeah. Just stay up.
I forgot the order of qualifying. I know one of the McLarens are on pole. And then after that, I know the Ferraris are 6th and 7th. They're in the 3rd row. But that is a nice track, by the way, that the Chinese track that nobody watches because it's in the middle of the night. It's kind of like the Australian Open for tennis.
Yeah.
No, who's ever watched the Australian Open? So it's on in the middle of the night. But they have a giant straight. They have the main straight. Then they have this giant straightaway. It's so long, Matt. They don't let them open. You know how they have that wing that opens so they can finally pass?
Yeah.
They're over, I don't know, 30% of the way down the straightaway before they allow them to open the wing. And it was funny.
Really?
And they're still not passing, right? And Martin Brundle goes, they moved it back 75 yards or whatever. I don't know what it was. Feet, yards, I forget. And he goes, they could move it back another 75. I don't think they could pass, you know.
Rick, can you see that comment?
Garage that Colin started the Lotus in. Cool. That's cool. I've only seen pictures. You've seen some history. I love
no kidding.
Lotus was my thing, dude. 1960. It was 65. I'm going to say that really where it hit was May 65 when I listened to the Indy 500 with my grandpa on the radio. Now, remember, I got to picture this car in my head. They keep talking about the rear engine car. All I've seen is a Watson Roadster. And, so they're describing it, but I mean, radio was good. Those guys were pros back in the day, you know. They could paint a picture, you know, because they had to. And I remember the next morning, it was front page in the LA Times, you know, and picture the Lotus 38 and Jim Clark with the reef and the whole bit, you know, and that was it, man. I was a Lotus fan, a Jim Clark fan, and
yeah, that was my dad. My dad, he loved that car.
That's my favorite car. I tell Jim.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna build one of these and honor him because I know he would have absolutely loved it.
It's gonna be a really cool kit, and I am. You know, that's one of the reasons I love my job. I get to make some really cool crap. And, you know, I got that one here. I got the 64 back there, you know, guys, in a few months, we'll do the same kind of thing of the video on that. Maybe I'll get the volume correct on that one. Okay. I don't have the opportunity to monkey with that like I do with this right now. So anyway,
you're getting there.
Rick.
All right.
Matt, I think it's time for us to beat feet and get out of here.
Yeah, we'll get once I get my camera, as you can see, my camera's still not hooked up. Once I get my camera going and stuff,
and you put your Salvinos banner on over the blinds behind you, so it blocks out all the light.
I was going to put that. We have one of those JR model banners. You know, I was going to hang that on the blinds behind me.
I got one right above me.
Well, I'll put it right behind me in that window. That's where the sun comes up here.
Yep.
When I'm sitting there trying to turn the computer on, Matt, it's pitch dark in here.
Well, boys, you have a good weekend.
I got light.
There you go. You can put that on anytime. Boys, you have a good weekend, and
great weekend, everyone.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna get us out of here with the thundering hoofbeats of Miss Mia, who's stomped on downstairs, and those of you who are on with us, thank you for spending your Saturday. And though I need to put the put a little things on the image that say like, subscribe. Where's my other fingers? There we go. Like and subscribe. Put those down below. And it's not an ego thing for us, but what it does is it'll change the algorithm and it'll put this into the feeds of other people who build models. So, hey, thanks for your time. Thanks for building our stuff. Even Matt, Mr. Conti, thank you for all you do for us. Thank you for building our kits and showing off and helping people with them, and all that stuff. So,
it's fun. That's why we do it.
Matt, I have a question for you.
Ask.
Why do we build models?
Because it's fun.
There you go. And on that bombshell note, folks, we're getting out of here. Let me. Where's my outro video? There it is. Okay, play, damn you, play. once more. Have a good weekend, folks. It's not letting me stop.